Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to part 2 of coloring in Thomas Kinkade's Disney Dreams collection. We were on the second page where part 1 was a bit frustrating for me. So I'm kind of looking at that right now. I'm thinking, that is way too purple. But I'm probably going to fix that, because in here it seems to be... Let me turn this light up. I feel like I've been playing with my lights too much. Oh well. I kind of feel like there's a brown-ish kind of. So I'm just gonna find like a little corner, probably like this spot right here, because that seems on the dark side right here. So I'm just gonna see if I can add something to that. So again, the way too many sheets where I'm gonna need this one, just to kind of figure out what kind of color I can sort of wash over it, I guess. I think I'm gonna actually go with the one that I already had. Now these lines, they did turn out good. And I mean, generally speaking, I would say that that beam turned out pretty good as well. I still do think that I have to zoom in. Now I was mentioning that in the last video and I never did it, so I'm just gonna first see if this is gonna even work, and then I'm gonna see if I can zoom in a little bit. Guess I also noticed that a few times in the previous part. I actually sort of was coloring right there. So yeah, you know, I mean, I can actually see the screen of my phone, but I guess I should just do that a little more often. You know, I do feel like this is actually, I mean, it felt a bit weird to go in, but it felt like, should I really do this? But now it kind of feels like it should be. I mean, this color alone ended up in these lines. Also noticed on camera that I made a little line here. And then I was actually double checking, and it's more like a blob. So I should turn this into more of a blobby. Is it blobby? Is blobby a word? Blobby is a word now, because there's actually like this little dent. I think that's right there. So I'm just gonna, yeah, I'm not gonna go exactly for that, because I'm pretty sure I started this like too low, because I was using, oh my god, you're off screen. I was using this as like a reference. No, I wasn't. What was I using as a reference? Well, anyways, this indentation should be where it stops, but I feel like I would be making it too big, and the idea is that there's a blobby thing here, so I'll just, so it should be somewhat like this, but I'll just see what I can do to make it look a bit organic. Ha, that actually kind of looks good. Now I noticed that I sort of jumped straight into the coloring, because between part 1 and 2, I don't know when I'll be editing and uploading, of course. I mean, I'm hoping that would be somewhat regular, but I don't know. I felt a bit conflicted about part 1, which for me was, I think, about an hour ago. No, maybe a little longer. Because I was actually kind of, yeah, hungry is not the right word, but I could definitely eat. So I went and did that. And maybe watched a little bit of television, just, trying to process the failure. Well, that's what I thought anyways. Then I was also thinking, like, I do want people to kind of just keep going, because that's what I do. That really is what I do. And I thought the best way to show that is to just come right back. Alright, now I'm just gonna see if I can fiddle the camera into just focusing on a pencil that is going away on this bit. Problem is I can't really grab the reference as easy as I can now, but I'll just see what I can do with the camera, and well, I mean, if I can't make it work, then I'll just come back in that square. So after some editing, I will be back very soon. So after some fiddling, we're back. I mean, I could have gotten it closer, but like this, it's actually still doable to quickly show that side, I think. Now, we were working with, well, 175. It's really hard to see. I just gotta keep an eye on how this camera is gonna focus, because if it keeps focusing on my hands, then we're gonna have a problem. So let's just hope I don't have to change too much, but it's too, because autofocus is actually off, but well, it's a smartphone, so apparently you can figure out what settings it's on. As long as I don't get too close to the camera, I mean, I'm just gonna have to sort of keep an eye on it, I guess, as much as possible. Alright, so I guess you can kind of see that, it's darkening it, but it's still sort of preserving that, well, purple kind of feel that we had going. I'm not sure where we went light over here, but we went too light. But that's like part one. I don't know if you've watched it, and I mean, I do hope you did, because, I tried, but that just didn't really go as well as I had hoped. So I just kind of got a little grumpy at the end, kind of like, well, that's what I keep sort of saying in my videos, that feeling that everything is just not going the way you had hoped. And of course that doesn't just go for your coloring, that also goes for apparently video and chat. But yeah, I guess I just got to the point where I figured, I'm just gonna finish it to the point where it looks okay enough, and I'll just sort of fix it in part two. Or, well, actually, I look back and I thought, that kind of looks too purple. Because I guess that's that might just be a thing people recognize as well, that going too light. I mean, I am pushing myself to go darker, I guess. So that's a bit of the learning that I'm doing now. Because, you usually, I don't know, it's kind of like you kind of afraid to go darker. But I have noticed very often that, that is the thing that is missing from my coloring. Which doesn't mean that my coloring pages are complete failures in my eyes. It's just, I would have preferred if they were a bit darker. I mean, right now most of them are just happy and bright pages, which is good, but it wasn't always what I was going for. And then on these pages where you think you really went dark, you really didn't. So it's kind of disappointing at times. But, you know, that is the thing that I keep saying, you know, that disappointment. We all have it. Especially, I guess, when you're new. Because you have all these brilliant ideas. You just kind of lack the skill or the experience or the materials or general knowledge or just all of the above. I mean, in my case, I got the materials for the most part. Because, I don't know, I started coloring and I just went to one of those stores where everything seems to be for sale. That's how I started coloring. Because the coloring books were like 80 cents. And then, you know, I didn't even realize that they actually have like an adult section and a children's section. I didn't even realize that they would have adult coloring supplies. I mean, I did grab the adult book in the adult section, so maybe I could have known. But I don't know, for some reason, I didn't. So I knew that they had a, yeah, well, kids section, I guess. So I just walked straight up there, like, I need felt tip pens, because I didn't want to, I did actually have some old coloring pencils from when I was a kid, but I remember getting frustrated with those when I was a kid because I didn't have enough colors, and I don't know. Somehow there was always something not good with them. Because I think that was as a kid, I think I had the 50 set of Bruinzeel. And, well, I just used those for coloring, well, not even like this, but, you know, every little thing had their own color. So, I mean, like, that hat is like orange. It's just one orange, so I just make that orange. Now I would use an entire range of orange, so it's a different kind of coloring. I still have all my junk from part 1 lying around because I just wanted to come right back. It's like, you know, it didn't really turn out the way I wanted. Gotta get back. But yeah, I have somewhat decent materials, I guess. Well, I mean, these are not bad pencils, so. But, I mean, not everyone has, like, these artist pens, and that's not because I recently won a lottery and just bought stuff. I mean, still waiting for that to happen. But I have noticed that, you know, if you think something is fun and you want to spend more time on it, then you don't want to get frustrated by the materials that you use. So I started with a simple set, like €2. Was like 18 pencils. They have 4 different ones for like the 4 color ranges, I guess. So I think they had like a yellow box and a red box, or pink, or I don't know, and green and blue. So, you know, you get all 4, you get, what is it, 72 pencils for €8. Those were like my first coloring pencils as an adult. And they were frustrating, but I wasn't aware of it at the time. But I guess that's one of those things too, you know, if you're not aware that there's better out there, then whatever you're using is always going to be fine. I mean, I thought those pencils were fine. And then I kind of cursed myself by getting different ones. My polys. And then I wanted them all. Because I already knew that I just started with, I think, a 36 set. So 36 of the polys, but the annoying part there was I was missing greens. I was really missing, well, to me, important greens. So, like really darker greens. That 36 set just seems to have, I call them like blue greens. So they're green. They're just kind of like blue. So that is so annoying. I'm still using like the colors that I picked up last time. So this is the 175. The blue I just used is the 157. So we're kind of staying in the same numbers. No, but I love the greens in my poly set. I really do. Really dark greens in there too that I'm missing with the Pablos. There's quite a difference, I mean. And just to kind of demonstrate what I mean with like blue greens, I think what was in the 36 set was, you know, it's more like in this range. I mean, I'm not sure what, there might have been some light greens in there, but the ones that I really wanted were these. Those were not in the set. So that was kind of, yeah. Didn't I grab these for something else? I really don't know. Still kind of, oh yeah, I was going to compare the greens, because like this is, I think, well, you have dark green, but if I put that dark green next to, I think that is the 278. I mean, it just isn't so dark anymore, is it? And keep in mind, these are kind of faded. I'm so still in the previous vibe. I mean, I kind of, it's one of those, if you fall, you gotta get back up, try again, you know. I just thought I gotta get that out of my system and just come back straight away. Or, well, straight away. I did actually have a little bite to eat because my stomach was all kinds of grumpy too. That probably didn't help. I mean, I'm not sure. It was definitely distracting. So there was that. And make myself a hot cocoa because, I mean, those are always good. I get, well, unless it's very hot summer, then maybe not. All right, now I'm kind of, can I actually see that? You know, just move it a little bit. This part I might want to also include straight away. Now, something, wow. Well done. I was thinking maybe my oranges, but that is just maybe a little bit too much. Thinking a combination maybe. That could work. I'll just start. Well, there's some yellow bits, but they are very yellow, so I'm just going to go for that 107. It's the, I think it's the yellowest yellow that I have in this set anyways. We'll get to the Pablos at some point if I need them. Still got a good point. So let's just add it somewhere over here-ish. Yellow. In the reference, it's kind of blobs. If I just put it like this, then it's just on screen. That's the problem. That's why I kind of I could have zoomed in even more, but I figured I wanted to keep things on screen. Because I actually went off screen on the last one for a few, but you know. I'll get used to it, and at some point I might even get a decent camera. Because that would also help. Not that my phone is bad, but I've just noticed that when I put it on these settings, I mean, it is way better for YouTube, but I don't know. Right, so I'm just going to put this to the other side. I still have all the colors from the last time. I should really remind myself to name the colors, because, well, for me, it's been a little bit, but I don't know how long after editing it's going to be, so people might have cleaned up. All right, so I'm going to go for that 109, if I can find it, because I should probably take a picture of how my setup is here, because I really have two sets that are lying around, and everything is still in their tray, so I'm just gonna grab that. Like, my Pablos are actually like full tray just lying there. Did find a nifty way to put that protective foam on the bottom, because with the polys, that protective foam is already underneath there, but with these it isn't, and I didn't want to use glue. But then I found that these are metal trays, and I actually found some magnetic tape, which isn't really that magnetic, because I have one of those magnetic whiteboards. You need a lot of magnetic tape to actually get anything to stick. It was ridiculous. So I kind of gave up on the magnetic tape until I got my Pablos, and I noticed that these protective foam thingies were not attached. But that magnetic tape that I have, it's sticky, but not too sticky. So I kind of figured, why don't I just stick that tape to that foam so that, you know, I don't ruin the foam. Because I mean, of course, I could have just glued the entire foam thing to the bottom of the tray. Could have done that, but I figured, you know, then if something goes wrong with the glue or whatever, I would have ruined it. I don't want that. All right, so now I'm thinking, I've been fiddling long enough. I could go into the sanguine, but I'm not sure. I should probably just start heading that way. That is definitely the terracotta, which is, are you it? This is it. Are you really it? Let me just sort this right there. Let me just sort of give it a try. Yeah, I mean, it does look nice, doesn't it? That kind of, see, I was trying off screen again. I do think it kind of looks okay-ish, but I need something that is just a little more dull. Wow, there it is. Look at that. I think I found it. I feel like it's the 182. Oh, good. I can barely hold that. So here we go. I do actually have one of those pencil extension thingies, but since this is relatively small area, I can probably make it work. On top of that, I also have only one of these pencil extensions thingies. Pencil extender. Wow. It's almost like I took a drink after part one. I didn't. Yeah, I just, well, hot cocoa, but that doesn't count. That's feel good. But, you know, I just reminded myself that I kept telling everyone, you know, you keep telling. We all have things that don't work out straight away. just keep trying. So I figured, you know, practice what you preach. So you have your little meal, your little snack time. You have your hot cocoa, and you just get your butt back in there and continue coloring. That's what you tell others to do. So, well, here I am. No, but I do have a actual pencil extender, which for some reason broke on this side, but I just find it annoying. I have a few others that are kind of like on hold right now, because like I added them to my wish list, but that doesn't mean I know when I'm going to buy them. But seeing how this goes, I might have to add them pretty soon, because this just feels kind of weird. Makes it easy to remember what I used. That's a given. Was I really going to go for the sanguine? Because I am just going to double check. Move into screen. Good. See? Getting better. I mean, I probably could go for that. Oh, this probably is better on top. I'm just going to put it away. Where did I grab it? Alright, wait, that was the terracotta. Didn't feel like using that. I feel like I should go... Yeah, well, 113. Now, this is one of those things that I've noticed. I think this is actually one of those pencils that is weirdly soft. So, we'll just see how that goes. We already had everything go wrong, so at some point, things have got to go right. Right? Worse things, I guess, than taking too long on a color in chat. I do feel like I'm totally messing up this yellow-y kind of vibe here. I mean, this is just supposed to be hanging there loosely. All right. Now I am going into that 18888, 188888. They have extended the code on this. Because, well, I thought I wasn't going to use it. Do you kind of feel like it's a better transition into more browny colors? Well, I could go for... No. I'm giving up. Wait. See, now this is why we have another set, because here we go. See, this one probably has a better match, because I have that hazel, which definitely seems to be the right color. And if I'm going to compare this, yeah, I'm still back to terracotta, so I guess that's another advantage of having two sets. You know, you could just grab the other and then think, I need that color, and then find out that, you know, the polys kind of have that color as well. It's just kind of messy over here. I mean, on the one hand, I'm kind of still debating myself whether or not I should have come straight back. But on the other, you know, that is kind of what I'm telling everyone else to do, to just, I don't know, keep going, believe in yourself, that it'll all will turn out well. Now it kind of feels like I could break out into some kind of song at any minute. I won't. There's a little bit of a fiddly, orangey kind of vibe going on over there. I am definitely going into that 188 just because I can. I mean, on the swatch cards, I actually did like 3 different types of pressure so that I could kind of select my colors better. I feel like I'm totally messing this up though. I should just stop fiddling with it for a bit and just go back to all those purples and then just see how it turns out. So that was 188 for the darkest one, and 186. So now I have a whole bundle. But I'm going back to that because I feel like this is not really coming together the way I want. Because there's actually, I mean, that seems so bright that I might just do that with a Posca. Maybe. Definitely maybe. For now, purple time. Wow, this is just like, sounds like I'm really doing something, but I'm not. I mean, yeah, that's not working. This kind of is. It's like this weird transition from like purple into that brown. Feels like an impossible transition to make, but you know. It probably is with pencil to make this like smooth. So I'm just gonna do this. I mean, that transition thing, there is no real transition though. It kind of just goes. I mean, I would almost say that it's maybe a bit of a greeny kind of, I don't know what kind of color. Which I don't have. I don't have greeny. I don't know what color this is. I don't. Just throwing things around now. It's just getting frustrated. I will win. I don't know. See, that is where. It's like a color that you could probably only make if you are painting. This seems to be a color that could work later on. But I feel like that is, yes, light flash. 132, because actually when I was making that it said light flash, but I think they call it beige red? What is that? Yeah, beige red. So if I just trace that over, once I'm done here, I should be able to maybe, right. I gotta say, you know, I do feel better now than I did when I kind of wrapped up part one. I guess the thing is, you know, it's like your first try, so you want it to be perfect. Because, you know, you do want people to come back. But I guess, you know, me being all rushing into part two is just one. I do like these books, and the start, it always takes forever. But once you get going, that's, you know, they become more fun. And I guess I kind of forgot that too. It's kind of like, you know, you want people to watch. But, you know, I did think that I wanted to do the entire process. You know, you never know if someone actually wants to color along, but I mean, if you start in the middle, then you take away that opportunity to begin with. And I didn't want to do that. And I'm not sure if anyone really wants to, but I just want to keep that option open. So I do actually really enjoy coloring. But, you know, like I keep saying, not everything always turns out too great for me either. Well, this was probably the 160. I'm not sure I want to use that right now, because there's like this purple going on down there, which I feel might be more the 135. So let's just see if I can find that. And then there's this clock. Yes, I reminded myself you can hear the clock. Wait, let me just... That's a drawer opening. That's me getting the clock. All right, where were we? What's that? Be gone. Smush, smush, madoosh. Alright. A little bit over here. See, now I do feel like I'm going way faster on this than I was on the other one. But I just hope that, you know, it's not just faster, but, you know, it's still good. Because that is one of those things with these pages, you can't color them fast. It's just, these pages just take time. And I have mentioned it before, like I am on different Facebook groups, and you know, people actually wonder how they can color fast. I'm like, you know, there are actually people that are putting out their pages rather fast, but I mean, you don't know what the rest of their day looks like. I mean, most are just posting and that's it, you know. They kind of tell this is the book I used, and so they might be art teachers, you know, they might have to do it on a daily basis. Who knows? So there's that swirl right there. Oh, that's a swirl. That's because I'm like right there. That lighter purple just kind of goes up. I do kind of not like the fact that I can't get that reference in the screen, but I guess I do have to remind myself that, you know, if people are coloring along, then they have the book, so they have the reference. But I mean, with some things, you kind of want to point out what you're doing. Although when I'm coloring, you never really know what I'm up to. I'm all over the place. Now, for some reason, because I use this is the whole time, but I keep turning it around, so my point is still good. Still sharpie, sharpie. So, just make this dark. I mean, sort of debating if it's dark enough, but it'll have to be. And it could just kind of add to it, but I'll probably do that afterwards, or not. There are some spots over here that seem like they can go a little darker. Okay, that area. I'm gonna do it. Just go for it. Trust the process. All right, and then we're just gonna go in with that really dark indigo 157, which luckily we still have from the last time. I just totally forgot that, you know, I just kind of stopped part one, stepped downstairs grumpy, kind of like, yeah, taking that little break, so my stuff was still out here. And then I got started, like, you know, I just have to get back into it. So I totally forgot that after editing, it might be a few days in between, and not everyone keeps their stuff lying around. So, you know, I'm pretty sure that between this part and the next part, I should have gotten rid of most of the chaos. So, purple. So this is that 249. Have I already used that Delft blue? Probably not. Yeah, in there. Which is 141, but I'm just gonna go for that 249. That's the one I used earlier for sure. No, but I just really had to come back as quickly as possible. Because otherwise it would just make me grumpy. I didn't want that. I just wanted to give it another try. I mean, I had to anyways, but on the one hand, you know, that I guess part one, it turned out okay. I just kind of thought that, I mean, as far as I've seen, it's not a total nightmare, but while you were coloring, you just kind of constantly reminded of what you hoped it would be. And then when it just turned out way different, just, I don't know, just a little disappointed. So I'm just right now trying not to make up for it with too much speed. And as I'm trying to, I'm trying to start like 5 different conversations at once, because then I get distracted. And I think I was talking about pencils, and then I moved on to the disaster I call part 1. No. It felt like a disaster while I was on it. But then it did turn it out. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure I hate it. It's just, you know, I guess the process was a lot different than what I expected. Because it just felt like, you know, I can see the timer on how long I'm recording, and it kept going, and there was like nothing on paper yet. But then I looked back and I was like, well, you know, I'm not sure if it's actually slower than what I usually do. Because I don't see that. I don't feel like coloring is a race. Which again brings me back to those Facebook comments that I sometimes read of people wanting to know how they can quickly color something. But I think that is also why people sometimes say that they can't do something. Not because they really can't, but because they just don't take the time. And if you have the idea that a coloring page should be finished within 2 hours, then there's just so much you can't do. I mean, the way I'm doing this, I mean, I'm pretty sure there is maybe a more effective, well, not maybe, there is a more effective way to color, I'm quite sure. But, you know, I'm not a professional. It's not like I've been doing this for a decade. I haven't even been doing this for 2 years, so I guess I should remind myself of that sometimes, you know, because I do have high expectations. But I guess in a way I am still a beginner, and just maybe I figured things out rather quick, allowing me to already be doing these pages. Because I mean, I am aware that, you know, some people actually look up to me, which is weird. It's also like the first time I say it out loud, but kind of weird. Feels a bit weird. That's also why, you know, now that I am on YouTube, you know, I want to send the right message, I guess. Not sure how I'm going to call it, but that whole me saying that you should believe in yourself, I mean, I do mean that. And if you want something, you should go for it, right? I mean, I know that makes me a cliche for saying it. Instantly, I become a cliche channel, but it's true, I guess. How many times have I said, I guess? Stopped saying I mess it up. Now I'm saying I guess. I guess. Oh, well, it's a different word every time. Although, I guess keeps coming back quite a lot. I feel like I'm slowly getting somewhere. I'm really hoping that that also kind of shows on camera. I mean, it still looks rather bloppy here and there. Now this is that, what is it, 160? This is like just randomly hoping that the color kind of sticks here and there. So that it'll give some sort of effect or vibe, or what shall we call it? And then I had the 135, and I'm just gonna do the exact same thing because randomness is awesome. I mean, it doesn't have to be an exact copy. Where's that 136? Because I think that's the one I want for that little, what's that little bloppy thingy? I think that's the 136. Yeah, pretty much. I keep forgetting. That shadow was kind of harsh. I don't know. I'm just at this right here. Well, I do feel like the camera settings now are better. I mean, I actually get to lean in a little so I can see what I'm doing a bit better. Because I really like seeing what I'm doing. Felt like last time I was kind of far, far away. In a color book. Far, far away. Alright, stop talking, Dodo. Seems to be like a little accent on that hat. I'm not sure what exactly color that is, but I'm just gonna go for burnt ochre because we haven't grabbed enough pencils yet. Oh yeah, that's one of those pencils that got into an argument with my sharpener. My rotary sharpener did that, and at some point it was doing that with all my pencils, so I kind of feel like those grappy rubber rings might be some sort of off-center, maybe? I don't know. Because all my pencils kind of came out like this. And then I kind of just put it down and put a pencil in, and I just looked at how that pencil was going in, and I was like, that is not straight. But to get rid of this, all you gotta do is just use, well, handheld. And I'm kind of just get rid of that first. But right now, I think the point is good enough for what I need, so what I'm using it for is good enough. So, yeah, I'll just keep it for now. I did have another pencil that kind of became, well, it just became wood at the end. So I thought maybe the lead wasn't centered, but then I actually looked at my sharpener and I figured, well, maybe it's the sharpener that's the problem. I mean, it could be, I don't know. I'm not an expert. Nor will I ever be, I think. Pencil sharpener expert. Is that a thing? Right. So that was the burnt ochre. I think that would actually work for that little bit above. It's just like a, see, now this doesn't work because there's wood there. Kind of forgot about that. No, I really, at first I thought that this was actually caused by it maybe not being centered, but it really is centered. I mean, there's no way there's not. I double checked, and at some point it just started doing that with all my pencils. So I figured maybe it is the sharpener. All right, now I really want this to be as dark as it can be. Because, can I get both of them, sort of? I mean, color-wise, it seems alright, so maybe I should just stick to Delft Blue. I'm just gonna try that. I'll just start at the bottom, because that is actually where there's a dark spot, so that means if I don't like it, I can just go over it. How far in are we? I feel like this is going so much smoother than the previous one, but maybe that's just my reward for jumping right back in. I'll just think positive. Right. The coloring with pencils is not necessarily new to me, but, well, the book definitely is. I got it early January. And then I started coloring, and, you know, I got quite a bit done. Then for some reason, I decided I want to try drawing. So then I got distracted by that, and then I thought, yeah, you know, I can just draw and color. Well, of course I could, but that's not what happened. So then I was drawing things, and then for some reason I ended up buying my alcohol markers. And then of course, once you get those, you want to give them a try. So I did that. Got stuck on that for a few weeks, so it took me a while to actually finish that first page. So I was still sort of getting used to it, and on this one, there's a lot of things to get used to, because as I mentioned in the previous video, I went all out with those white lines. Like, way too much. Probably shouldn't have. Not that much anyways. Because it made it kind of complicated to color, to say the least. You know, it was not fun. At some points it just, yeah, I don't know. But, you know, I did kind of keep trying, and I did get the page finished. And I do not hate it, so, you know, that's my own reminder. Things don't always go the way you maybe planned or hoped, but that doesn't necessarily mean the outcome is bad. I feel like I should just keep it sort of like this. Maybe even it here and there, because of course there's these weird transitions that I could probably do without 188, because that is the darkest one. So I feel like that is the best choice to kind of put in between, to kind of make that transition. I feel like my chatting is all over the place too, but I do feel like my coloring is actually sort of fast. It's not, but alright, so that looks good. Still looks a bit grainy though. If I want to make it darker, then I was kind of wondering what I would use, because right now I just have all the darks, but maybe I should just go for a very dark kind of... There it is. Yeah, I don't have that one. Indigo Blue, 139. Where is my other set? 139, where are you? Here it is. See if one set doesn't have it. Maybe the other one does. And most of these are still like looking brand new. Got this set in December. So I think I colored maybe 3 or 4 pages with this. As in coloring pages, where one was like a 50-50, I think. It was a Christmas page. I think, yeah, I may have done quite a bit of Christmassy pages with this. Alright, now I feel like I am losing that lump over there, but I'm gonna need black at this point to bring that back. Not because it rhymes, but because it's true. Or maybe it rhymes because it's true. Well... So, I guess there are certain advantages to using 2 sets. I do have to say that my lights are making it look... Oh my god. See the difference? So it's really reflecting the light. So like right now it actually looks okay, but when I put my lights on there, it becomes very shiny. So, shiny lights. So here I am constantly trying to readjust that shading where it was actually already kind of done. But this is what I mean with you know, kind of keep pushing that paper and it will make indentations. I will probably have a very dented page already. You can kind of already see it. Which is not me saying that I am necessarily heavy-handed. How do we call it? Alright, now I can try to sort of get rid of that. I'm just going to lightly go over it just to maybe make it more pleasant for the camera to see. Now, this actually does take away pigment, but you can always use it as eyeshadow, I guess. And one of the things you can also do, find a spot like right here, it's kind of like that purple is kind of running. See, you kind of just blend that into each other as well. So now if I put that light back, how horrible is it going to be? I actually have these very bright lights. See? That light is like right on top of it. So I'll just put that right there. This is why, you know, when I'm done with one of these pictures, I take that photo in daylight. Always. Now, sometimes that actually means that my pages, they show up brighter than they really are, but I'm okay with that. Alright, and just put that away. And we are back to polychromos because it was really only focused on that little bit. I do think this is turning out pretty good. I mean, not if I put the light directly on it. But that is like just a reflection. So here I kept thinking like, oh, it's too white, but if I just turn that light away. So yeah. I guess that's one of those things you just gotta look out for, you know. Alright, so now I'm kinda done fiddling. So I'll just put this in. Bit more pressure, making sure all these white spots are kind of gone. This is the 249, so I can go lighter, and I probably should once I get down a little bit. It does look good so far. I mean, time-wise, I think that this might be taking just as long as that other beam. but I just had to come back and try. I mean, I get it. It is taking ridiculously long, but you know, it's just, I sometimes feel like people don't understand that, you know, if you want a certain result, you do kind of put some time into it. I mean, I can actually color 2 pages a day. I've done that. I've even uploaded them then. But, you know, those 2 a day, yeah, I prefer this. I really do. But I mean, that is a personal thing too, you know. Some people, they just want to get a page done a day, but I guess I just want to remind people that, you know, you can just put it away. You can just put the pencil down. You see, my page is not catching fire. It's not running away. It's not being eaten by dinosaurs. It's not being kidnapped by aliens. And I don't know how many more kind of nonsense things I can spew, but I mean, you know. And now let's just pretend we had some sleep. We can just pick up the pencil and continue. So, I mean, it sounds kind of obvious, but you know how very often it's the obvious thing that we don't notice? The way I used to call that is like, did you plug it in? And that's basically me referring to, like, you're trying to make coffee, but it's not working. And for some reason, there's just these people that go to the toolbox and they grab all the tools and they're ready to just take that coffee machine apart. And then I just kind of look at that and wonder, did they actually plug it in? I mean, usually people kind of get mad when you suggest the obvious, right? Did you plug it in? I mean, that is the obvious. But think about it, that is very often the solution. That very simple thing. Because how often have you come across a problem and thinking, nah, that can't be it. That's like way too easy. Yeah. So you might want to start there. I'm just going to go over this a little bit. Ooh. All right. Now, I'm not sure that I'm happy that this is already taking forever, but I am happy with how it turns out, and I do have to remind myself that this was a bit of a thing, and this whole going from that to that without really any kind of transition. I mean, with paint, I guess, yeah, I was going to say that will be easy to do, but I mean, with paint, you can go, well, this is purple, and it just blops some yellow on that. Because that little shading, no, looking at that reference, I think he actually put that in after or something, I don't know. But you know, you can just put it on top of each other. It doesn't have to blend necessarily, you could just blop it on there. With pencil, it just doesn't work. But you know, I do feel good. We're jumping right back in. Kind of feel like I should just keep coloring and coloring and coloring, but yeah, it's actually kind of late already. I was gonna start a bit sooner, but my neighbors were being incredibly loud. Because for some reason, that is needed. You know, everyone's got to know that you got a party. Even though you know that these houses are not exactly quiet, everyone should know. Alright, now I do feel like that turned out great. Ish. Yeah. Comparing, I feel like it's kind of okay. Too bad I can't change the view right now. What happens if I just turn this down a few notches? Then the other light is gonna... Is this one still creating? Yeah, so now I have this one creating that light effect. So basically, the lighting is kind of being mean. We need the ideal lights, which I don't have, because everything is just reflecting like crazy. And I did put them, at some point I'll put them in a way where I don't have a lot of shadows going on, but well, I guess reflection, that's just the pencil. But I do feel this is actually kind of okay. I mean, I could start with something else, but I think that, we've already here for an hour. So, for me it was just, I had to get back as soon as possible because, I don't know, I just was a bit annoyed by the way part 1 went. So, I had to get back. But I mean, if anyone is watching before I have everything uploaded, because I'm hoping there will be a time where everything is uploaded, then, I don't know, maybe, I could get suggestions on how long you would want a color in chat to be. Because, I feel like 1 hour is, yeah, it's already quite a bit. But, it's ultimately the viewer. I mean, I do feel like, I want to keep going because it's been an hour on like that and then an hour on that. So this is like 2 hours. It's like frustrating. I mean, for me, anyways. And here I am thinking, this is taking forever. And maybe someone else is trying to color along and be like, could you please slow down? I mean, I'm still sort of new-ish. I mean, well, I think what I can do to sort of make it okay for myself is find a color for the beams, like that lightest bit. Just find what that lightest bit is. Put like a ground layer there, so that for part 3 we can just kind of get into that. I have no idea why I grabbed this one because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna need, yeah, I'm thinking brown ochre for most part. Oh yeah, we are zoomed in. Especially here, that lighter part, it's one of these 3, and I am really tempted to go for the brown ochre because I think I already used it in those bits. So that's this one. So I'm just gonna add the color so that, we kind of have that idea. Now this bit I'm not gonna do because that is right there. So I'll just put like a ground layer in. I'll just put this in my, I'll put it in the thing. I really should get more of these so that I can just quickly grab and switch, I guess. Yeah, I guess I'm just doing this because I kind of want to feel like ooh, there's something there causing it to, where's that, maybe underneath. And that'll smudge my thing. Now, I actually used a little bit of pencil to outline the outsides because I remember on a previous page where I was coloring, and I just continued. I mean, I like to color inside the lines as much as possible, but I also want like that outer line to sort of be straight. So I just grabbed my mechanical pencil, drew a line, got an eraser, and actually thinned that line back out again. So I think on camera you don't really see the line. Maybe if I put it closer. I mean, it's just for me. I mean, if you kind of prefer that, then I probably should have mentioned that in part 1 so that you could have done something over there, but I have said I am not that well organized. Right. So now at least it looks like we're getting close to the next part. I mean, I could keep going, but I just, yeah. And it has been over an hour. No idea how that's going to be after editing, but, you know. And I could just zoom back out, but we all kind of understand what we were doing. I'll just keep this on the screen. So for the next part, I'm hoping to do this. Do that little shiny over there. And maybe I'll just get into the background because that seems like it's going to be quite the battle. Although these lines I'm probably very okay with. Though I do have to say that if I do decide to do some whiting out on things, like maybe that beard or whatever, then, you know, I'm probably going to do that like off screen. So if I want to be whiting lines, then I'll just do that before I start recording. That way, you know, it's all dry and I can just instantly go in there. One of the reasons I mostly wanted to get a little bit started on this is because, you know, I did start whiting out these lines, and then, yeah, these wider lines, they were just sitting there, which I guess is good because they were drying. And anyone who watched part 1 and was like, oh my god, I want one of these pens, well, you mean between part 1 and 2, I guess you could have. So, meh. For now, I think this is good enough. I mean, I felt really bad about that, but this actually felt like it was going pretty fast. I mean, it turned out pretty good, I think. I mean, one of the things that I think you will notice is that I do try to get my colors as intense as possible. Not necessarily as dark as possible, because if I go to this page, I mean, there's a lot of light in there, but I do want it to be intense. And especially now when I'm zoomed in, you can really see that reflection. And that's because of that burnishing, that whole, yeah, I guess that's like really pushing that pencil into the paper, so that whole little paper structure is kind of gone. I mean, in here you can actually see some of those lines, and they are really in the paper right here. I mean, with this light you can really see it. Like, I really push down on it, but, you know, out of the light, these colors have become so intense. And I do believe that that is actually what they call burnishing. And I just kind of do it instinctively. So I mentioned, you know, like I do everything just the way I feel like doing it. Like, I guess when you now look at the shoes, I didn't really burnish. But if I then go back here, wow, wait, I should do that again. That actually made me feel good because I went like this and kind of, that feels like it's one color, doesn't it? Sort of. Yeah. Well, there's a tip. But I mean, these colors are just intense. I mean, you still see a bit of white there, but I did go over it with a Q-tip. And of course this page is far from done. But this is what I mean with intense colors. I love that. So this purple really is a dark purple. And I guess when that is kind of, so this is what I like to do. Wait, let me get a bright color that really shows. I'm gonna just go for red, because red is, so this is what I'm looking for. You know, but I don't know. I feel like this is where most people kind of start, like right before there. But if you just keep going, then all you are left with is color and no paper. Because you can actually, because of the light, you can already see a little bit of indentation, which probably means, I'm going to feel that on the back as well. I mean, I already have previous picture kind of printed on here. Like I have this little thing. There's like something right in the middle. Seems like a little bit of a, yeah, that would be on this spot. Right. Well, you know, all burnished and done, I guess. I mean, you could use like Q-tip, and I mean, some people actually use like turpentine and whatnot. I never went for that. I didn't go for the Q-tip because it doesn't have a Q-tip. I mean, most people have this. And if this doesn't work, I mean, maybe like kitchen paper or toilet paper. I mean, you can just probably get some toilet paper and, I don't know, grab like a pencil and wrap your toilet paper around it, and you can get in all these nooks and crannies. I mean, you can get creative. You don't really need anything to smoothen it out, because I won't say that this is blending necessarily. With the light layer, it definitely is, because I showed that in part 1 where you can just smoothly, okay, this part is clean. I can actually make this look a lot smoother without really ruining the tooth of the paper. But as you can also see, you're also taking away a bit of that color. But you know, it does become smooth. So with a really light layer, you can definitely blend. I figured this out when I was coloring a lot of snowy pictures. Because, you know, snow is kind of, the way I always say it, you know, you color it with the intention of the paper staying white, I guess. Color it with the intention of not coloring it. But yeah, I mean, this went all smooth, and I didn't have to use anything. Though, of course, if you are using whatever, I mean, to each their own, I usually say. Just, you know, remember that things like turpentine, they're not meant to breathe in. So if the weather is good, go outside. If you can do it next to a window, please just, you know, be careful. Don't kill yourself over a coloring page. Alright, so I'm just gonna call that it for now. And I'm definitely looking forward to everything else on the page, because this was a bit of a, I'm gonna call it a boring thing. I mean, we have all these shinies, and these pages are just so challenging. I'm just, you know, hoping that if I can help one person maybe get an idea of how to color it, or, you know, maybe you're just that person who likes to see other people color. I mean, if I make your day, then awesome. Either way, you know, this is only part 2, and there's gonna be more. There have to be. I mean, I don't want to do anything off camera, just in case people really want to color along. You know, I don't want to come back next week or something and be like, oh, I already colored this, and then maybe you being, oh, but I was looking forward to how can you, so I'm just gonna really do everything. And if for some reason part 1 and 2 and how many are up and I decide to just not complete it, then I don't know, I'll probably remove them all so that in the future no one will stumble upon them. But, you know, for now, you know, I think we've done enough. This was good. This was good. This was a nice comeback from part 1. For me, anyways, felt good. So make sure to like if you like. And, you know, if you want to be sure you get there for part 3, subscribe. And yeah, if you have any feedback, that will be very welcome. That's what the comment section is for. Also for questions. So, you know, if you do have questions, I mean, apparently I have maybe some crazy ideas on how to color or a different approach. So, you know, just ask away. And, you know, if I have an answer, I'll give it. So, you know, make sure to use that option. And maybe I can include it in next color in chats, or I could just answer straight. But, well, yeah, that's enough for me. So, for now, I'm gonna thank you for watching. Remind you to subscribe and like. And I do hope that you'll be there for part 3. And we can continue this lovely picture. So for now, have a good one and hope to see you soon.